Hi guys, it's Meg. I have another tutorial for you guys today, and this one was a suggestion I received from a couple of people. I got a couple requests for an eagle or bird. Thanks guys for suggesting this. This was really fun to build, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial. I do have a growing list of things to build, so don't feel bad if your suggestion doesn't get built. It could be that it's just buried in my list. So I will try to get around to as many suggestions as I can in the future. All that aside, let's go ahead and start building this eagle. The first step for this statue is to create something for the eagle to be perched on. Starting with any kind of block you want to use, I'm going to create a very basic platform for the eagle to be perched on. For the first layer, I'm going to make it 5 blocks high, but you can make it as high or short as you wanted. And I'm also going to add one more layer on top, and I have this shaped specifically so that the eagle will rest perfectly on top of these shapes. As long as you have these 2 layers laid out somewhere, you will be able to snugly fit the eagle on top. Once we have the eagle built and perfectly aligned on its perch, we can always go back and adjust this to however we want it to look. Now that we have the base done, I'm going to find a center block on this top layer in the front, and I'm going to count 5 blocks up, and starting from there, we will be able to make the middle layer of our eagle. Now I know sometimes my shapes can be confusing and a little bit hard to follow. What I have found that works best for me when doing these statues is to create an outline first of the entire shape and then filling it in. This just makes it easier so you don't have to necessarily count the blocks by row, but you can just count each block along the edge. Now that the middle layer is done, we can work on the second layer on the left side. I forgot to mention that I will be doing my build entirely out of stone, since I am doing a statue, but if you're interested in more colored options, I will be showing you some examples of that at the end of the video. Once we have that side done, we're going to move to the right and add layer 2 over there. It's going to be almost exactly identical to the other side, except for the top part where the head is. Since the eagle's head is turning slightly, we're going to be building it entirely on the right side, and the left side will just be the back of the head. Time to move on to layer 3, and I'm going to start on the right side this time since we're over here already. So go ahead and trace around the edges, trying to find this shape. I'm going to be covering the first eye on this layer, but don't worry because it will show up in the front, so that is exactly how it was designed. And moving on to the left, go ahead and add that layer as well. It's going to look very weird at the start, but the more layers you add, the more comprehensive this entire statue will be. Let's go ahead and add layer 4 to the left side. There's going to be more gaps in the shapes at this point as we start to map out all of the intricate details in the wings and the tail. Now let's go to the right and work on layer 4 over there. Again, the body section will be an exact mirror of the other side, and the head will be adding a lot more to the beak. They might be a little hard to see, but I'm also adding a few slabs to smooth out some of the shapes on the beak. They're not absolutely necessary, but I think they do make it look a lot better. Next layer, let's go ahead and make this wing shape. Also, we have some blocks to add on the foot as well as the beak. Now let's go to the left and add that layer as well. Also, don't forget to be adding those 2 extra blocks on the tail feathers. Now the shapes are just going to keep getting smaller and smaller. This layer is just going to be adding on to the wing, and I'm going to start incorporating some holes and gaps, and this will give it the textured look for feathers. On the right side, same thing, we're going to add the wing, but we're also going to be finishing off the beak. Now this looks like it could be finished right here, but I'm going to add one more layer, and this is again just to finish off all of these feathered textures. And to be honest, this doesn't even have to match what I've done exactly. It could be completely random, but if it's easier for you, just go ahead and do what I've done. And once again, moving on to the other side, do the exact same thing. Now that the eagle is complete, we can add a little more textures, although it doesn't really necessarily need them. I'm going to be adding some extra stone slabs all around the body of the eagle. And this is just to help add texture and a little more dimension to the whole build. And also I will be adding cobblestone slabs to the tail feathers. And since we have the feet already laid out and perfectly placed, we can go back and adjust the perch to however we want it. I'm going to make mine twist around a little bit to add a little more asymmetry to this build. As promised, here's a quick look at how we could color this eagle, and as you can see, I have done a bald eagle for mine. There's really not much else to it than coloring it like you would a coloring book. Add white to the head and the tail, yellow to the beak and the feet, and brown to the body. If you want a more detailed look, just use different types of blocks of the same color. This just adds a little bit extra realism to a build. So for example, I did a combination of white concrete and wool on the head, and then 2 different colors of brown blocks on the body. Now, one more thing I wanted to mention is I wasn't 100% sure if I liked these birch slabs on the beak. I personally prefer the colored version without those slabs, but if you want to leave them, you could. And for the other slabs, of course, you would just try to find something that would match the color. Well guys, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is the part of the video where I'm supposed to ask you to like, comment, subscribe, and all of the above. So I just did that. Okay, bye!